New mic. I'm going to tell you about an app that students from Harvard, Stanford, and many top universities use, and they don't tell us about. But first, let's talk about Marcus. Marcus is just a regular student, one who does regular student things, like he sits in class and copies everything the teacher says into his notes. This very day, Marcus seems to understand everything the teacher says. He feels so smart. At that point, Marcus believes he can write a textbook on that topic. Marcus is a genius, but not for long. Marcus wrote his test a few days later and got an F+. Yes, the plus for his effort. Did Marcus not understand his teacher? Yes, he did, but Marcus has been a victim of the forgetting curve. We can't talk about the forgetting curve without talking about Hermann Ebbinghaus. So, Hermann Ebbinghaus is a German psychologist that did a bunch of tests on himself, so we don't have to do it for ourselves. He, for example, memorized a lot of syllables that were senseless, and he measured how long it would take for him to forget these syllables. One of the most fascinating things that Hermann Ebbinghaus discovered is that human beings gradually forget information after they have learnt it, and about 75% of what they forget is forgotten in the first few hours. That's so crazy, right? Hermann Ebbinghaus also discovered some ties with how information is presented, how you feel when you learn it, how meaningful the information is to you, to how much you forget after you have learned this. Hermann Ebbinghaus came up with a curve that looks like this. This graph is the forgetting curve, and we see that there is a steep drop of information loss few hours after the information is learned, and then it slows down gradually. You might be saying, now what's the point of school if we just learn to forget? Well, your body's response to learn to forget is actually more useful to you than you know. But how then can we fight against the forgetting curve? This is where spaced repetition comes in. Spaced repetition is essentially reminding yourself of information at intervals after you've learned the information. So say I learn my ABCs today. After a few hours, say 3 hours, I remind myself of it, and then the space increases. So the next time I would need to learn that information is a day, and then 2 days, and then 4 days, and then a week, and then a month. Science has proven that what you learned at the end of this interval is substantially equal to what you learned on the first day. Now, what does this have to do with a secret app? I have 5 classes in a week, right? And I learn a bunch of information from each of these classes. If I take the information I learned in the class on Monday and I space it out, I'm going to have another class on Tuesday, and then I'm going to have to organize that and space it out, and then I'll have another class on Wednesday, and then on and on and on until the semester is over. That is going to be a full-time job to organize that kind of data. That is where Anki comes in. Anki is an app that has an algorithm that is specialized in spaced repetition. There has been a lot of research that has gone into the production of the app Anki, so you don't have to do the work. Now, Anki is a flashcard app which automatically schedules your reviews of cards according to spaced repetition. All you have to do is input your flashcards, or better still, get pre-made decks and just answer the flashcard. Now I'm going to take you on a little tour to my Anki dashboard. Welcome to my Anki dashboard. This is a new profile for this lesson. When you open Anki, you're going to see the screen exactly like this, except this bar under. This bar under is a plugin that I put. If you would like to learn more about Anki and how you can customize it, then let me know in the comment section. But for now, you have your basic Anki. There are going to be 2 things you would be doing. First of all, you're going to be creating decks for different subjects or different classes, and you're going to be creating cards that you're going to answer. So to create a deck, you simply go to the bottom of the screen and click create deck, and you name the deck. This deck is named biology, and then there you have the biology deck, right? You can also create sub decks under decks. For example, you have different topics under biology and you want to separate them, you can create sub decks. How do you do that? You create deck, then you type in the name of the deck, biology, and 2 colons, then the name of the topic, cell. Alright, there you have it. Under biology you have cell, and let's add another sub deck to be sure it works. Biology, 2 colons, and plants. there you have it. So you can do that for each of the topics under different subjects. Now, to create a card, you have to go to the top of the screen and click add. And we have different types of cards. The ones you're going to mostly be using are basic cards, or if you want to know more about the other type of cards, you can search on the internet or let me know in the comment section and I'll make a video especially for that. So let's go with the basic cards. And then the deck, you have to choose the deck you want it to be in. So plants, okay? Choose. So now you input your question.
What is photosynthesis?
And you write the answer. Photosynthesis
Is the production of sugar by chlorophyll containing plants using sunlight for energy, water, blah blah blah.
When you click add, it shows you another card, so you can input multiple cards at a stretch in the same deck. So when you're done adding all the cards you want, you click X and you have the card there, right? So when you want to answer the card, you click on it and you go study now. So you study and it shows you the front. So make sure you try to guess the answer before you show answer. So once you have guessed, you show answer. So if you didn't get it, you can press again and it will come back in a minute. If you got it but it was really difficult and you want to learn it better, you can press hard and then it's come back in 6 minutes, and then good for 10 minutes, easy to come back in 4 days. Now what this does is it sets the base for your spaced repetition. So it was easy for me, so I just press easy, and once you're done with the deck, it comes to this and you can go back to all your decks. So if you keep adding this for all your classes every day, every time, to be honest, when it comes to exam, you'd have learned everything you've learned in that semester to the core, that you won't need to do so much revision. That is all about creating decks by yourself. There's more, but if you want to know about that, let me know in the comment section. Now, for importing decks from the internet, now I had mentioned before, there are pre-made decks that you can get from the internet. These are decks made by students that have passed through similar courses as you, and then they make their decks and they can upload them to the internet. So all you have to do is go to Anki Web. When you go to Anki Web, you see all your decks aligned here. So these are the decks that I've been using for school, and then you probably won't have this many because you just started. So you go to the bottom and you get shared decks, right? So when you click on get shared decks, it's going to take you to this page, and then you just search in the name of the topic. Let's say cell, and we search. So you're going to see tons of decks with the name cell. So you're going to look out for two things. Look out for the name of the deck. So this would give you a clue to how much related it is to the course you're actually taking. So we're looking at cell structure, and then ratings. So the ratings would give you a good idea of how other people feel about the decks. It's already ranked by ratings, so you probably take decks from the top. But if you scroll to the bottom, you see decks with very low ratings. This could be either because nobody has downloaded the decks, or if you see A-, then the decks are really bad, so don't download those decks. So this is amino acid flashcards. It's not related, but it has a high rating. But cell structure is related and it has a high rating, so we just go here. And then you see kind of a preview to the decks. You see some kind of questions it has and how it is, and then you'll also look at ratings below. I found it really helpful, and it's just what I was finding. Okay, so I guess we can download it. Once you download it, all you have to do is open the file, and when you come to your Anki, it's going to import into your Anki automatically. So now you have the imported deck. You can rename it to come under your biology deck by coming this way, clicking rename, and then before the 2 columns, just write biology, and then it comes under your biology deck. We don't need this parent deck anymore, so you delete it. If the deck you get is not what you want, you can just simply delete it that same way and go to the internet and look for other decks. That is all I have to show you from my dashboard, and I hope you found it helpful. Now that you're convinced that the Anki app might be a great addition to your life, here are a few tips that would help you in kickstarting your journey with Anki. First of all, there are 2 ways of getting flashcards. You either make them yourselves or get pre-made decks. For making your flashcards yourself, there are a few rules which you might have to follow to make the best flashcards. First of all, when it comes to making inputs, that is the front of the flashcard, you should pose questions as thought-provoking questions rather than just vague phrases. For example, I could ask a question that, what is Isaac's channel about? That is a direct question and I have to answer it. Even if I see it 10 years later, I would understand the question. But putting vague phrases like photosynthesis at the front, then at the back, this is the process of making food through sunlight, water, and blah blah blah. This might seem nice in the moment, but when you're reviewing the flashcards about 4 months later, you just see photosynthesis. What about photosynthesis? And when you flip back to the back and you've already seen the answer, it's not really helpful in challenging your brain, so you don't really learn anything in that moment. Second tip is answers should be short and comprehensive. A mistake that tons of people make is that they just write a phrase and then copy a whole paragraph from the textbooks and input at the back of the flashcards. The flashcards are supposed to help guide you to be able to answer questions accurately. They are supposed to make you think about the question and try to bring out solutions. So copy and pasting entire paragraph is just relies on rote memorization, or you probably won't be learning anything. Learning comes with effort. When you make the effort to try to remember or try to figure it out, that is when neurons change their shape and learning occurs. But if you just keep feeding yourself with the answers, like Marcus in class felt like he was learning a lot of stuff because it's confirmation. It's just like, of course, what you're saying is right, like nodding his head and everything, and it feels like he understands, but you're not really learning it thoroughly. So try to answer the questions even if you get it wrong. In fact, when you get the questions wrong, it consolidates the memory a lot better. Now we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Now obviously there's a lot more to Anki. If you have any questions concerning the app, or you're interested to know how I set my Anki to get the best out of it, leave a comment and let me know, and I'll be sure to answer to those. Have a nice day and bye bye.